Hello and welcome. This is class number 42 of the Mains Answer Writing Initiative. I hope all of you are doing good. Before we begin today's class, I have two requests from you. First, if you are one of those who has still not hit the subscribe button, I don't know why you have not, so please do that. Second, if you want to have PDF of these lectures and you want to be aware of new initiatives that we take, apart from that, getting other important resources for the examination, do join our Telegram channel. The link of that channel is in the description of this video. In the description, you'll also find the link of the entire playlist of this series. So in case you have missed out on any of the earlier classes, out of the 42 classes that we have done, you can go ahead and watch that as well. Also, as most of you would know by now, we will be launching after prelims examinations our Mastering UPSC Mains Answer Writing program, which is a hand-holding mentorship program specifically to help you with mains answer writing. How this program will work, it will be a personalized guidance program in which every single week I'll be giving you a target to study. At the end of the week, I'll be giving you a test basis of that. We'll evaluate that, have one-on-one discussion every single week to mark your progress. This program will help you write hundreds and hundreds of answers, and by the end of it, you will be able to answer any kind of question that the UPSC asks you. If you want any other information about the program or how to register, this is the contact detail. You can always reach out and we can talk about how the program can be best suitable for you. Now let's begin, and as I do in every single class when we begin, reminding you, if you are new here, in case you have still not written any answer and you want to know how to begin, my advice is go to class number 1 of this series. In the first class, we had discussed about how to structure the answer, to write introduction, main body, conclusion. Please see that and it will clarify most of your doubts. Once you're done with that, you can come back and then we can begin. Now, what is the question that we have taken up today? We have again taken up a question from 2022 paper. The question is, increase in life expectancy in the country has led to newer health challenges in the community. What are those challenges and what steps need to be taken to meet them? The question is simple. In the past few years, average life expectancy of an Indian has increased. Earlier, if life expectancy used to be in 60s, now it is in 70s. Means, on an average, an Indian is living longer than what the Indian used to live earlier. However, it might seem like a good thing, but with that, there are many health challenges as well. So the question is, what are those challenges and how do we tackle them? The idea is simple. What are the challenges that you see when a person lives longer? First, when a person lives longer, a person may not necessarily live a healthy life. You will see a lot of old age people living for a pretty long life, but in the last 10 to 15 years of their life, they are not at their healthiest. They are sick with a lot of diseases, they may be bedridden, so that's a major burden of financially on the entire family and on the government itself. So that major concern. Secondly, again, it increases expenses. More people living with these kind of diseases, more people living in sickness have their own kind of challenges. A lot of these are challenges that we have seen with increasing age or increasing average age. Again, increasing average age is good. It is an indication that your medical science has become so far improved that you can now treat the person to live longer in most cases. But that does not necessarily mean that the person is living a healthier life. Now, what do we have to write in the introduction? Intro, usually we write a fact or a definition. We'll start with a fact. If you know numbers about India's life expectancy, that would be the perfect answer. Something like, increase in life expectancy from 60 to 70 is set to double the share of senior citizens from 8% to 14% by 2040. So it's a pretty fact heavy intro. From here to here we have written facts, data, numbers, and then to connect we have written this presents a challenge to our healthcare policies, because again the question is on new health related challenges. So to connect it to the main body, we have written this connecting line. Now, what are the challenges that we discussed? First, our public healthcare infrastructure anyways is in a bad condition. We saw what happened during COVID-19. Apart from that, also, you know the condition of the government hospital, the public sector enterprises. Yes, AIIMS is the top of the line, but you also know even when you go to institutes such as AIIMS and you want to get some operation done, they might give you a waiting time period for months and months. So your operation that needs to be done today, they might ask you to come back after 3 months. There is such a long waiting. So the infrastructure of the public healthcare system has never been up to the mark for many, many, many years. Vulnerability to diseases increases, especially because of issues such as air pollution, pandemics, viruses. It has become a problematic thing. Third, as I told you earlier, just having more years to live does not mean they are necessarily healthy. In a lot of cases, we see people living longer but unhealthy, sick life. That becomes a big burden. Financial burden on the family and on the government itself. How on the family? Because again, family has to bear the consequences. Food, medicine, healthcare, all the expenses have to be borne by the family. If on the other hand, the person opts for government hospitals, government clinics, then it becomes a burden on the state also. So both of them. Then increased utilization of resources also. So if someone, for example, let's say in their later half of the life, is dependent on a life-saving machine in a government hospital, there are a limited number of those important machines. And it's a very strict or a very important decision to be taken where the resources have to be used. So that also is a big challenge. How do we tackle these challenges? First, obviously, spreading much more awareness about diseases and health conditions. Encouraging the people to stay healthier for a longer period of time so that they don't become a burden on the family and on the government itself. Having people lead healthier lives so that they don't consume so many resources of their family for medical needs. Ensuring that the families take insurance, that the families have access to funds so that they can actually take care if this situation arises. And then obviously forcing the government, not forcing, but encouraging the government should focus on public health infrastructure. There's a lot of talk about public health infrastructure every single year. In the pandemic also we saw a lot of talks about it. Before that, after that also there was a lot of talk about how public health infrastructure has to be the focus, but that has still not been done. Something like this also has to be the focus. That is again a step to be suggested to tackle these challenges. We can conclude by how our demographic dividend can be a negative part, can be a negative outcome, or can be a negative impact on how the society lives. Our aging population can have a negative impact on our GDP, and this has to be tackled if we have a dream of becoming a $5 trillion economy. This is how we can write this particular answer. These kind of questions are well answered when you do have certain facts or data points with you. This is your homework. If you want to write an answer, analyze the difficulties in reconciling the Prevention of Money Laundering Act PMLA 2002 strict measures with principles of justice and fairness, particularly in relation to its effects on individual liberty and the presumption of innocence. See if you can write this answer. You can mail this to me as well. I'll be happy to evaluate this for you. Once again reminding you, do hit the subscribe button if you have not done so far. I'll see you tomorrow 7 p.m. once again. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Jai Hind.